Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 5 of the 21-day challenge. And today is quite a challenge for all of us because it's probably the most emotionally charged election in our history. And that brings with it some very unsettling feelings that are easy to get sucked into. And so what I want to focus on today is to helping everyone ground their energy by using their breath and their body. So far, we've been working on Marma therapy, or the stimulation of Marma points, to help anchor the energy into the body and to help with the circulation of vitality throughout the entire being. So anything that happens in the mind happens also in the body, and vice versa. I had somebody mention to me yesterday that her anxiety could not be possibly rooted in her body because she feels fine, but from a Chinese medicine or an Ayurvedic medicine standpoint, this is simply not the case. There is always a link between the mind and the body, and one is not doing something in absence of the other. It's just a matter of which is the most obvious or prominent of the experiences that a person is having. So sometimes people will have anxiety, say, and they'll have physical sensations. They'll have heart palpitations or chest tightness, and other people will have digestive complaints. And sometimes these people won't even feel anxious. They'll just be manifesting these physical symptoms. On the other hand, sometimes people are feeling mostly the mental and emotional disturbance, and they're not even really registering what's happening emotionally with their body. They might be aware of it here and there, but it's not like the predominant thing drawing their attention is their bodily sensation. So what, again, I'd like to do today is, as an extension of the Marma therapy, to bring one's presence back into the body and to be present with whatever sensations one might be feeling throughout today, tonight, tomorrow, the upcoming days and weeks, and to thereby help to regulate the flow of pranic energy or life force or vitality throughout the system. So one thing that we can do with the Marma therapy is, if you're noticing that you are getting some chest tightness, or you notice that you're getting some any kind of abdominal discomfort related to a feeling of being unsettled mentally or emotionally, then you can use that really light pressure that we did with Marma and just gently hold the point that's at the center of wherever the sensation is you're experiencing, and just gently, lightly hold that point. And then you'll find that the sensation begins to change, and it may move, so follow it with your finger. It's very interesting how that can happen. So that's one thing that you can do. Another thing that I encourage people to do is very simply to focus on whatever part of their body is touching the ground. So right now I'm sitting. I can focus on my butt touching the pillow. And anytime I start to spin out or think about anything that makes me feel less than peaceful and calm and joyful, I can bring my attention back to my butt. What does it feel like? Where is the pressure coming down through my body and landing in that seat I am on? I can feel where my legs and ankles are crossed. I can feel the sensation of the pressure going down through my feet into the floor. So constantly bringing one's attention and awareness into the body at a certain point is a way to anchor and ground ourselves in the midst of unsettling emotions and mental energies. And then another thing that is really helpful is to breathe. So very simply, breathing in and out You can breathe in and out through your nose if that works for you right now. I know a lot of people are experiencing some allergies with the mold from the leaves and the cold and the heat being on in the house and the dryness. So what you want to do is, if you can breathe in and out through your nose, to do that. And if you can't, do whatever you can. But it's helpful to feel the sensation of being aware of the breath coming into and exiting from the body. Being aware of where the breath feels like it fills up in the body. And what I mean by that is, where do you feel your body move when you breathe? So when you take a breath, do you feel like it's like going into your throat or your chest and that you can't get it any further? If that's the case, that's just fine. You breathe into your throat or into your chest. You don't try to make it go further, because what ends up happening is the same thing that ends up happening when you touch the point where the energy is stagnant. Once you bring attention to it and awareness, it begins to change. So when you breathe, if all you can feel is this part of your body, that's good. Feel that part of your body. And just allow the breath to touch from the inside and bring the awareness there. And do only that. Do only that for a couple of minutes. So do this exercise right now. I'll talk you through it. Feel your seat. If you're standing, if you're walking in the woods listening to this right now, feel your feet as they touch the ground. If you're standing, feel where the placement of your feet inside your shoes is. Feel if you're standing more in the outer edges of your feet or the inside, the heel or the toes. Notice that, because that is going to help you feel more anchored. And then once you have pulled your prana back into yourself, instead of having it be all scattered and pulled out into the exterior, you want to then take your attention into your breath. So if you can, breathe in and out through your nose. If you can't, breathe however you comfortably can. So take a nice breath in and out. And you can close your eyes here. So closing your eyes, unless you're walking, of course. Closing your eyes. I would like you to take 10 breaths at your own pace. Sometimes you may feel like you need to sigh at some point during this process or yawn, and that's just fine. Your body knows what it needs to do, and once you begin to give it the space to do that, because you're bringing your awareness into the space of your body and the presence of the moment, your body will reset your breathing rhythm. It will know exactly what to do. Sometimes you can be with sensations that arise as you breathe. So perhaps you're beginning to feel a sensation somewhere in your body that's not entirely comfortable or pleasant. So just feel that and breathe. Let yourself feel that without it becoming all consuming. You can observe that sensation. The same thing is if you feel something like joy or peace or bliss arise, then you can be with that as well and continue to breathe. And feel how that moves through you. So you don't need to do some advanced pranayama practice. We don't need to do anything intense. All we need to do is to breathe and anchor our awareness into our body wherever it's touching the ground. This is a is an exercise in vata balancing. Prana, or vitality, is an aspect of vata energy. And we haven't talked specifically about vata, pitta, and kapha yet. We will. But you are experiencing the regulation of vata and pranavata by engaging in the practices of marma therapy, of grounding, and of aware breath work. By being present, you are manipulating the vata in your body, which is changing your mind. The mind influences the vitality, and the flow of the vitality is greatly influenced by the breath. So all of them work together to help to keep you balanced and energized and nourished and rested and whole, feeling whole. So remember these practices throughout the coming hours, days, weeks, and make them a habit to go back to. You'll forget to do it over and over again, but you'll start to remember at some point, and then you'll integrate these practices as your go-to for when you're feeling stressed or tense or anxious or even helpless. Or if you're feeling angry or frustrated or judgmental or unkind. You'll remember to go to these practices if you make it a priority that you want to remember to do these to help keep yourself centered. Any negative emotions or feelings that we have are things that are affecting us and our physical body. Plain and simple. So as much as something exterior to us may feel like a trigger, what we need to do is to increase our tolerance to being triggered so that it doesn't happen so easily or so often, so that the body can buffer itself against those things. And being present, being anchored, breathing, these simple things are all ways that we can begin to do that. So with that said, I hope that you all have a much more peaceful day than you could have imagined. And I look forward to seeing you all on Friday. Namaste.